What's going on, RK? Dude, Dale, not a problem. I am stoked that that auction went off as well as it did. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, and that last minute jump on the ground boat was amazing. I love it. What's going on, Thomas? Hey, thank you for stopping by the auction today. It was awesome. You too, Heather. You should be in bed, but so should we all.
I need a munchkins.
What is going on, Tavian? What did you win, Thomas? Ella. Right. I bet. What's going on, Babaker? I'm live. I'm live right now. Just FYI. Mm-hmm. So that was, yeah. The blood red pen, Thomas. I was asking Thomas in my chat. He won the pen that you donated. Okay. So in that case, Thomas, reach out to Ed, the genetic hunters at gmail.com, and he'll hook you up with what he wants to do as far as payment on that. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten anybody that sent me any info, but I don't know what they want to put in just yet, but they still have a little bit of time. So cool. All right. Bye. That was Ed. I've got this one going on tomorrow. What's going on, BP Collector? I've got that one going up tomorrow. I have another one too. Let me see if I can find it. I found it. So we will have 2 pens tomorrow. Boom. RK, you're about to get a lot of highs. What's going on, Ed? Thank you for visiting my channels. And this one here is sold to Noodles. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, he definitely is energetic. Oh, RQA sometimes is a pain in the butt. What is going on, Slash Master 1989? Stuck in your truck. Do what I used to do, Thomas. And I really used to do this. I learned it from my dad, actually. Um, I used to work for a short period of time working for my uncle doing repossessions. And my dad actually worked for him too. And when we'd be in the tow truck sitting on a car for hours and hours and hours on end, we just order a pizza to our truck. We'll be right back. I am dealing with a small work issue. All right. I've got a small work issue I'm dealing with right now. Try to come in here and keep you guys company at least a little bit. Later, Ed, if you're still here, I doubt you are, but that's not what I want to do. Broadcast input, current session only. Come on, all right, there we go. That's gonna work. All right. We were, sorry, I had to take care of a small little issue with work, doing a little hot fix deployment of some software and it failed. So I had to go in and figure out why. But I think I figured it out and this time it should be good to go. Yes, Dale, you should definitely eat. So are y'all ready for Saturday's auction? That's a nice bike. I just had to look it up.
any little bit is helpful. That's for sure. All of my snakes today. So the Indonesian dwarf ground boas that went, and this guy right here. Remember, guy. And this lovely guy right here, the winning bid. I'm matching the bid on it, so that's good. Huh? Yeah, you're gonna go find a new home. Good boy. Ugh. Yeah, that's an awesome little snake. What we have tomorrow is actually pretty nice. So tomorrow we've got this girl, which is a female calico. We've got this guy, which is a yellow belly. Got the spot nose Woma. Or not tomorrow, Saturday rather. We have another yellow belly. A female albino 50% het pied. We got the male blackhead. And we have the female normal. What is going on? TNT balls. I mean, nothing like super high dollar or anything like that, but I also don't have any super high dollar. What's going on, Andy? All right, and with that, I fixed my issues at work. Awesome, Brad. I'll check it as soon as I go out into the other room onto the other laptop. Brad, I just responded to your email real quick with the information that I have for their care sheet. I want to get some black pastel in my collection at some point, but not anytime soon. Yeah. And then as far as the shipping, as soon as I get all my boxes in, I'm going to order them all tomorrow. So as soon as I get all my shipping supplies in, then I'll get you a shipping quote and get everything sent out to you. Very nice. Speaking of play, how is my girl doing? Nothing yet. Oh. Yeah, and I'm definitely not shipping anything unless the weather permits. Like, just not gonna happen. This good, Brad. That was a beautiful gecko, and I would love to have it. I just don't know anything about them. So you know, Brad was the until I bid, Brad was the winner. So I said just give it to him, and he didn't necessarily need it, so TNT gets it for the win. Group effort, Brad. Group effort. I have no doubt that you will. Mine was pretty crappy the other day, Brad. Hey, this laptop is a decent laptop, but my Wi-Fi is clear in the other room, and I don't know what it is. Like I'm on my 5G network and all that sort of stuff, but Thomas, there's two main websites to go to for that. You can go to what is it? Reptiles to You. Right. Let me find it. That's weird. Reptiles2you.com. There we go. So you can go here. This is one. Yeah, there's Ship Your Reptile, which I wanna sign up for as well. So there's that one. Their shipping, especially across country, is almost $100 though, so it's pretty expensive. Then you have reptilesexpress.com, which I've heard good things about, and their shipping is relatively inexpensive right from the get-go. And I haven't looked at the Ship Your Reptile to see what their pricing is like. ShipYourReptiles.com. Let's go. I've got one going to Georgia. Um, 30253. 30253. Go with a 1 9x9x9 quick quote. Holy moly. Ship Your Reptiles is pretty expensive too. Priority overnight is $91, which is actually more expensive than Reptiles to You, which is more expensive than Reptiles Express. Because Reptiles Express to go from my place for actually let's reduce this at a small 1 pound package. So Reptiles Express is 92124, headed on over to 30253, which is in Georgia. So from San Diego to Georgia, 9x9x9. and go. So like a 1 pound package through Reptiles Express, just right out of the gate, is $62. So out of the three, Reptiles to You, Reptiles Express, and Ship Your Reptile, Reptiles Express is cheaper shipping, which is better in the long run for your potential future customers. It is time to Postmates. Not a problem, Thomas. It's what we're here. I've gotten a few of my snakes. Actually, my the albino girl that's going up for auction tomorrow. I just got her in not too long ago from ZTK. And it's like every time I've ordered from him, I've spent like 86 or more dollars for shipping. So as soon as I saw that Reptiles Express was way, way cheaper, like I sent him the information, and he signed up for it and has already started using it. And the cool thing about Reptiles Express, I don't know if Reptiles to You does it, but when you sign up, it's of course free to sign up because they make their money. But when you sign up, like you're put into the first bracket, and so I don't know if you spend overall. Once I buy my shipping products, I'll know that for sure. But once you spend $1,500, so whether that's like $1,500 in shipping costs or $1,500 on their website in general, I'm not sure, but $1,500, then you get 5% off of all of your shipping labels. And then I know there's another bracket after that, which is 10%. I just don't know what the number is.
Or my little babies. Oh,
Got my little darling. You can come hang out with me. Yeah, right. So I mean, especially as like a hobby breeder, Um, you are going to potentially ship quite a bit. So if you buy their shipping stuff, which that's a little expensive. Like I'll have a little bit extra, but not much. Um, so just to ship the, what is it, 8, 9 snakes that I'm shipping out, um, 2 of which are in the same package. Uh, I'm gonna be in at like $100. Nice. Yeah, I switched all their bedding like 2 or 3 days ago. Well, Sunday is when I switched all their bedding, so they'll be due for it again in a couple of days. And every time I switch their bedding, I use the wipes that are right there, to kind of wash down the rack. This one here, I don't actually have any Dumbos, but so this one here was at Ed's house about to be food, and I stole it. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey. What's going on, Big Crash? Where are you at, Bob? Medium rat that your big girl wouldn't eat. Northern Michigan. That's no fun. More people need to just move to California. In fact, if y'all are interested, I found this really, really nice house for rent. If we get the entire community to chip in, we might be able to afford it. I mean, it's for rent for only the low price of $75,000 a month. Nice, Thomas. We don't actually have really anybody that sells like pet rats or anything like that here in San Diego. Like all of my rats, everything that I have. Let me put her back. I'll grab a few. So, like I've got this guy here. This is actually the first male that I started with. And he's still hammering it out, aren't you? Yes, you are. Mwah. And then I've got a few albino girls. Huh. Yeah. Oh, you guys are already ready for a new one. And then, but most of them are, just these little black hoodeds. Oh, see here in California, the story goes, I don't know, or at least here in San Diego, the story goes, and I don't know how true it is, but I know it was in the news years ago that like PetSmart and Petco, which are really the only pet stores here anyway, used to sell rats as pets. And a family bought a rat, and then like 6 months later, it bit their son, and he ended up dying, and it was attributed to like the rat bite fever or whatever. And as a result of that, here in San Diego, like PetSmart and Petco stopped selling pet rats. So now the only places that you can get a live rat is for feeders. So you can go to, like, there's Triple L Reptile that's relatively close-ish, but they're pretty expensive. And then every now and then you can find somebody on Craigslist. That's it. Yeah, you could probably give her the medium rat. I mean, it might be a tiny bit big, but like is the it might be a little big. Is the how much bigger is the rat versus like the largest part of her body, as they say? I'll pretend I know what you're talking about there, Thomas. I don't know anything about rat genetics, really. I know that the Dumbo that I have is really cute, and I know that it's like a blue. But that's about it. See, and I think that they could do that. They could do that here too. They just don't ever do it. But all the rats that I have now, they've never actually bitten me. My tub that has Penelope in it and the two black hooded rats, they give me gentle love bites every now and then, but never like hard enough to break my skin or anything. Just enough to let me know that they could. But I need to get more rack space for the rats. But before I do that, I need to move them out to the garage and do all sorts of stuff. In order to do that, I have to make sure that the garage is temperature controlled, which I have to figure out how to do that economically with electricity because it's not on my grid. Yeah. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. I've seen pictures of those Patagonian cabbies, but haven't ever seen one in real life. Yeah, I mean if they're relatively, I mean I don't know about 1.5 times their, so it's like 1.5 times their head or some crap like that. But if you go off of their body, the big thing that at least my thing there is I just try to make sure that they get enough to eat and it's not going to be big enough to cause any scale separation. But if they're pretty close to the same size, she should be able to take it just fine. I got bit. So when I first got my rats, I started off with 3 females and 1 male. Don't do that. That's a waste, Crash. You know, if anything, you can humanely kill it and freeze it. But when I first started with the rats, I had 3 females and 1 male. One of my females, actually 2 of my females, never bit me. One of my females never bit me. One female didn't bite me when I was going in after her babies. The other one was just a vicious little bitch. And both of them that ended up biting me died a swift death. And now, aside from the male that I just showed on camera, everything else that I have, except for 2, is actually just stuff that I've bred. Actually 3, because the one that I stole from Ed. I have definitely done that. There was one time, and this is a huge rookie mistake. Some of my males recently have been a little bit picky on what they'll eat. So I normally feed them frozen thawed, but they weren't taking any of that, and they hadn't for a couple of weeks. So I took some live. Oh, took some live and threw them in the tubs. One took the live pretty quick. The other one didn't really want anything to do with it, but I figured I'd leave it in there just for a little bit and pull it out before I went to bed. I ended up waking up in the morning, taking a shower, getting ready for work, going to work, and halfway through my workday, I was like, shit. And like ran back home to check on the snake. Luckily, he had eaten it. And I pulled him out and kind of looked him over. There were no bite marks or anything like that. So he had to have gotten it sometime throughout the night. Ooh, that's no good. I was watching, there's a dude on YouTube, Afro Herpers. He's not really like in like our little community. But I watch his videos every now and then when they show up in my recommended feed. And he just recently picked up a snake that had just been neglected for a really, really long time. I mean, at least she was able to get it down and you didn't have to, try to get it back. I imagine it would be a little difficult to try to get back. Cuddles, you shed. Fresh shed, anyone? That's the tail. Oh boy, that is a perfect shed too. Like not a single tear. Eye caps in place. A little bit of a tear at the tail, but overall perfect shed. You shed, Cuddles. Cuddles. Hey, you're okay, you know it. This is Cuddles. This is actually the first ball python that I bought. My gorgeous little normal girl. My thoughts on the spider gene. That is easier to show you. So these are the two spiders that I've got currently. I've got my male Mojave spider, 100% het for albino. And he does not, he's got a little bit of a wobble, but not really bad at all. And then we've got this lovely girl, which is my Spinner Blast, a little monkey. And when I got her, I got a bumblebee as well. But the bumblebee didn't do as well and passed away. So overall, my thoughts on the spider gene. I love the gene itself. It's sad that so many of them do have a big wobble. I do, however, have non-spider, non-woma morphs that also present with the wobble. So I do not buy for 1 second that it's a spider wobble and that it's solely the spider gene that has it. So I think the spider gene itself is probably safe, but there's either comes from like a bad copy or some other sort of hereditary thing going on. But until we have like more geneticists, studying the actual DNA and genetics of the ball pythons, we're not really going to know. We can trust what people have been saying for 20 years, but that's not actual evidence, in my opinion. So I'll be breeding, and actually one of the goals for black-balled reptiles, I did mention it in my live the other night that was like 3 hours long. One of the goals for black-balled reptiles is to eventually get to the point where I can hire some geneticists to do a lot of that research so that we can get some scientific foundation behind the things that we say. Hey, glad you're here, Gay. I'm a monkey. Hi, babies. Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. You see the rats? She's like staring intently at the rats. Hi. How you doing, little monkey? Yeah, no problem, Gay. I mean, I bought them. I bought them because I didn't think they were going for as much as they should have. That third one though. Woo! But happy to have BP send that out to you. Yeah, that third one went for what, like 150? Like that's a crazy amount for a shirt, but for the cause, totally worth it. Oh, she's going to Tinley for her first reptile show. That's a good one to go. See, and that totally makes sense to me, Thomas. Like the fact that so many people call it the spider wobble, but how many other morphs suffer from the wobble? If I mean, logically speaking, if any morph other than the spider suffers from a wobble, then it's not a spider wobble. You ready to go back in your tub? Hmm? My Red Bull is almost here, and I have to go outside real quick to get it. You going to Tinley too, Thomas? Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a science person, too much, but I have ever since I got into the hobby, which isn't all that long, mind you. Ever since I got into the hobby, I have questioned the things that everybody goes ahead and spouts off as fact, but there's like no documentation to prove it. All right, my Red Bull's outside, so I'm gonna go grab it real quick. All right, I'm back. And I have been keeping for nowhere near that. Hey, Gay, I found the perfect house for you to rent in San Diego. It is gorgeous. I'm gonna post a link right now. And if you rent it, I want a room, just one. There was another one that I saw yesterday. I was looking at houses to rent, but there was another one that was right at about the same size in terms of beds and baths, except for it was 11,000 square feet for like 50,000 a month. So I mean, quite a bit more affordable. I don't know. It's I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice, but it's a little over the top um, for me. I mean, I think this is the one that has the tenant. Yeah, this is the one that has the tennis court on the roof. Like, who in the hell's going to play tennis? Well, there wasn't enough space for more parking, Bob. But who in the hell plays tennis on your roof? There was actually one I was looking at. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Where was it? Which one was it? Let's go 3+. Not that one, although it is a nice house. Do. I think this was it. Nope. Although that wouldn't be too bad either. I wonder if it rented or I'm just not looking in the right area. There was a decent 3-bedroom place for rent that in the backyard had like 2 or 3 different sheds. All right, Thomas, have a good night, brother. Parties, could you imagine how many snakes you could have in there? Just think of the snake space. Yeah. I pay way too much in rent. Although it's not too much more than what you're spending. I swear it was this house. But that's just a carport and it had a garage. Definitely not that house. I can't seem to find any of the houses that I was looking at yesterday. But I was looking at a couple. There was one that had a really big sunroom. And then in the backyard, there were like a couple of stuff. I mean, you gotta think. I mean, you have that much space. Um, how many rats could you have? In my area or in my city, I'm actually not too sure. You go to so if you go to Rent Cafe, San Diego rental market trends have the average rent at $2,168 a month. But that's just overall average rental, right? And then you have places like La Jolla, like for houses in general, you have places like La Jolla that like overinflate the average because they're like $70 million homes. But then you have places like Chula Vista and stuff like that um, that kind of deflate it because it's nobody wants to live there. But because of that, it's dirt cheap, but it's also super far away from everything. Yeah, about 500. That's about what that's about almost what my rent is. Like I'm paying just under 1,900 a month for my place. Like if you want to live like super cheap, you can go to like Skyline out here. I think average rent over in Skyline, which is still in San Diego County. Um, but I think it's like $1,000 a month for like average for rent over there. But it's not a great neighborhood. It's not horrible. I wish I could pay my rent by the week. Hoya. Oh, damn, this one. I think this one was it. Yep. The one that I just found, the one that that I was looking at the other day or yesterday. So mind you, this was on the market yesterday. Like that one, I would have wanted one would have been perfect for the reptiles. This is the one that has the sunroom, plus it has the garage, and then in the backyard there's 2 sheds, 3 sheds. I'm American. What's a fortnight? Bi-weekly. But now I know what a fortnight is. Right? I mean, it's not tiny, but it's not ginormous, and it was under. I mean, the lot is 6,500 square feet. The floor size was 1,300. But the whole thing was for rent for under $2,000 a month. But that's just because of where it was at there in La Mesa. Yeah. Although I have a saying, like that actually fits this house perfect. And that saying is, it's good enough for the girls I date, which is none, because I spend my time with snakes. Yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, I wouldn't do, like, if I had rented the place, I wouldn't put any money into like doing any of that stuff. Maybe some color and of course curtains and stuff. But aside from that, like paint everything black, get some blackout curtains. Not really, but no. If I did it, it would be just a rental. That because my lease is going to be up here soon, and I want to move out to somewhere just a little bit more affordable. And so I was looking at houses to rent, and that one popped up. So I would actually be renting the house to live in. No, so like kind of. I So like I live in Tirasana, which isn't like super cheap, but it's not like richy rich either. Um, so if I go east, I think that's east. That's east. So if I go east, then I can get cheaper rent. Now the problem with moving further east is traffic. But I can deal with some traffic if it means I save a crap ton of money in rent. I mean, I don't necessarily have to stay close to where I work. Like a lot of these places that I've been looking at are relatively close to like the train. So that's easy. That's easy enough. Which will actually, I mean, even if I stayed here, this time next year, the company that I work for is actually moving buildings, which really, really annoys me because I moved in here so I could be a little bit closer to work. And now the building that our CEO just bought or is waiting to close on or whatever he's doing with it is like a 10-minute walk from where I just moved from. Nice. Man, all these. That one, same thing. I could still do this one. This one is like your quintessential like white picket fence house. Which with everything being just me, being a 3-bedroom, that gives me a snake den, it gives me a home office, and it gives me a bedroom. Yeah, I definitely like the sunroom in the other one. This one doesn't have any sheds, but I don't necessarily need the sheds. It would have been great to like be able to put the rats out there. Similar to how, who is it? I think it's CMC, how he's got them. And crazy enough, right now within the area that I'm looking at, which is a pretty large area, that house that I just linked is the cheapest. Right up from there, it goes up to 1900. This is Spring Valley. It's that is a crappy garage. Yeah, no, no, thank you. 19, and that's just a carport, but I definitely would want a garage. And then it goes up to like 2100 a month. This one isn't too bad looking, but there's no, like, this one's crazy that I'm looking at right now. Like, it doesn't look too bad from the outside, but they have no pictures of it on the inside. They only show you the front yard, which kind of has me worried a little bit. Yeah, that's a crazy good rental price. I mean, especially for the 3 bedroom. Plus, it's got a garage. There, I didn't see any pictures of it. I don't think. Maybe there is. No. Decent little backyard. But the little garage, so potentially something to put the rats in, and then a bedroom for the snakes, a bedroom for my computer, and a bedroom for me, I guess. But it'll be some time. I'll have to come back and look when my lease is getting closer to expiring, because it is a little ways away. But I like to look every now and then. And I can't afford to buy a house at the moment. I just don't have the down payment. But if I could, I would definitely rent that $75,000 a month house though. Yeah, definitely a house would be huge. Like I've been in a tiny apartment, a bigger apartment, and then this condo, and I'm kind of over it. No worries. It's getting late and I'm kind of tired, so I'll probably be jumping off here in a moment to go to bed. Yeah, I ordered pizza. Still sitting in the other room. I haven't really touched it. Nice, nice. Well, while you're making dinner, make me some too. You can ship it overnight. I'd have to wonder if that would actually even make anything like that would even make it. Although you'd be shipping from there to here, and we're not as picky about things that come into our country. So, unless it's a person. Sweet. I will be there next week. Not really, but a guy can dream. I need a vacation, that's for sure. Well, thank you. Oh man, I'm getting tired. I've been on for almost 2 hours. I think I'm gonna jump off and head on to bed. It's 9:45 at night. In the afternoon, right? I was gonna make the same joke the last time that I remembered where you were at a long time, well, a little while ago, but it wasn't funny then, and it wouldn't have been funny now. Oop. I hear messages on my. um, I mean, hopefully, let's do some Google searching. There's got to be a way to ship over to you that wouldn't cost crazy amounts. I'm going to do the research on that, and figure out the logistics on that. I'll be the only breeder that is able to ship to other countries aside from like the US and Canada. Yeah, definitely going to do the research because yeah, like you are around like every single auction and everything like that. You absolutely should be able to buy something if you want it. Oh, it might not actually. It's so it's not even legal. Crazy, 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 crazy. So select species of birds can only be imported from New Zealand only. Cats can be imported only via approved countries. Dogs can be imported only via approved countries. Horses, approved countries only. And rabbits, New Zealand only. Every other pet animal cannot be imported. Reptiles are not permitted to be imported as pets, but may be imported under strict conditions for zoological purposes. This may include, but is not limited to, turtles, tortoises, snakes, and lizards. So if we could figure out a legit zoological purpose for you to get a snake, we could definitely make it happen, or potentially make it happen. So if we can get you doing anything like scientific related, with like the study of behavior, structure, physiology, classifications, et cetera, we could probably get you Nice. See, there's the zoological purpose to be able to import a reptile. I'm the same way. Like I was talking about the spider gene earlier. And it's like one of the goals that I have for black-balled reptiles is to eventually get to the point where I can hire like geneticists and stuff like that to actually dig deep into the genetics of ball pythons and really figure out what makes them tick, where the different genes live on the different locuses and on the different chromosomes and all that sort of stuff, which are just like make breeding from black-balled reptiles like next level shit. And we would then have actual scientific evidence to prove that the wobble is not inherently a spider gene trait. Yeah. Whew. We have the same thing. Same thing with me and my stuff. I'm actually hoping exactly, Andy. Exactly. I have a normal that presents with the wobble. So it cannot be inherently a spider gene trait. It may happen most of the time in the spider gene, but there's another reason for it. We got to figure out what that is. Yeah. Somebody else earlier when I was talking about it was saying that he actually has a friend that's doing some studies on it currently, or starting to do some studies on it, and that his assumption currently is that it's something like within the genetics of the snake that's like causing something to attack a protein, something or other. I don't know. I'm not a science person. Um, I'll just get to the point where I can pay the science people to do their sciencey stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, a lot of stuff that is passed off as fact is really just this person said it 20 years ago, so it's got to be true. There's like very little documentation and evidence of fact, aside from what everybody does the same on their clutches. And that's on what, Gay, the Jags? Hmm. Interesting. And so that would mean if that's the case for like the spiders, then that would mean the see, and I actually don't think that spider to spider is actually lethal too. I just don't think that it produces an all white snake. Um, but nobody's really gone through the the 10-year journey uh, to really prove a super spider. But if they have two alleles that's supposed to split, but it doesn't, that would mean I said as far as I'm aware, nobody's actually gone on the 10-year journey to try to prove it out, and so I don't actually think that spider to spider is actually lethal. It's just not proven. Where's the documentation? Where's the documentation? Awesome, Gay. But for the alleles, so that would mean that like my spider that doesn't present with a wobble, that it would potentially mean that those alleles actually did split. Yeah, he says no. He says Kevin has gone through the 10-year journey to prove it, but there's been no documentation of that posted in any public forum anyway. See, I don't know, like my spinner blast, for example, from the moment that I've gotten her has not had any wobble, and I actually knew her parents, and her parents never had any wobble either. Indeed, there is that, and I have heard that as well. The more genes you add to it, the generally speaking, the better that it gets. But I mean, it's like you look at hey theory, you look at like Olympus Reptiles. He's got his big spider that's like, I think, like spider exanthic, um, zero wobble whatsoever, like at all. Yeah, same here, Andy. Like I don't have three, but I do have one without a wobble, and then I've got one with a small wobble, and then I have a normal with a wobble. Possibly, but I mean, really, I mean, I think we can, kind of theorize on what causes it and all that stuff all day long, to no avail, until we have the science, you know, to back it up. Stop it, Penelope. Penelope, stop it. Tell her to stop it. Tell her to stop it.
tell her to stop. Hmm? A little monkey, you stop it.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had one like there, I've seen like I watched the video by what's dipshit's name? Go Herping, where he takes one of Brian Barczyk's videos and kind of twists it to pander to what he wants to complain about in that specific video. I watched that video and then I watched a couple of others on it. It's like, I mean, they're all basically the same. But all of them have like a spider with a really bad wobble, like really, really bad. And in a situation like that, like I wouldn't breed that spider. But like my spiders that barely have a wobble, no problem. Or the one spider that doesn't have a wobble, not an issue. Completely agree, Theory. Like, and Brian kind of hit the nail on the head on that one. I think it's like ban one. Which one is going to be next? Because you know there's going to be, and if you're concerned over genetic defects, well then you may as well just ban every ball python except for the normal, because every morph out there is a genetic defect. I mean, I agree, Gay. Like I wouldn't, and you wouldn't, and Theory wouldn't, and Andy wouldn't, and the people that are around, in our circle, like even Brian Barczyk and Cusco and Miguel from AEP, and all the guys up in Canada. Like I know, and Balls to You, Gavin from Balls to You. Like I know they're going to put the animal first, but on that same token, there are a lot of people that are just in it for the money. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, my normal, my first one. my first normal, Miss Cuddles here. She when I first got her, she didn't want to eat for anything. I assist fed her one time, and she's been uh, a hungry eater ever since. Huh? Yeah, yeah. You're a good eater, aren't you? And you were looking all beautiful. You just shed. Yeah, some of mine are very voracious eaters. They like my pastel female. She will eat all day long if I let her. Huh? Yeah, yeah. You're a good girl. You're a good girl, aren't you? I've got a I've got a few that will kind of do that. Hi. I'll show you my pastel girl. Ugh. My pastel girl. She just kind of chills out with me and huh? What are you doing? Right? Yeah, she is beautiful. I mean, I love her blushing. See if I can find some of her flaming. Got some nice flames going on. Uh, yeah, she has been paired to my yellow belly. I'm not very good on the palpating or anything, so I don't really know where she's at, but we'll keep trying. Gambit, my big yellow belly. Yep, that's the plan. And then I've got my pastel lesser that I'm doing the same thing, except for she is with my fire pet clown. Here you go. But I bred her to I bred the pastel to this guy. Not really. He's way too young.
Come on, Gambit.
No, so she went to Gambit here. What's going on, Rob?
You silly.
Oh, nice, nice. Yes. Yes, he is. Can't say that I have. I had a dog, not anymore. I miss my little puppy sometimes. That was right after she got spayed. She was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. I'm probably about the same thing. Theory. I'll I'll get a dog like this. Although I'll tell you, oh, I hate when that happens. Don't you, KY? I had uh, I had one of my rats just recently. I didn't even get to count how many she had before she ate them all. Come on. Yeah. It's one of the reasons I want to upgrade my rat rack system. Uh, put each female in a maternity tub by themselves, and hopefully they'll do a little better. There you go. You need to get a cat like that. I didn't know that about the hairless. You learn something new every day. I've looked into the pricing of those. And by looking at the pricing of them, I mean looking at the pricing of them. Later, David. Have a good one. Give all the tarantulas a hug and a kiss. Whew. I've been on for almost 3 hours again tonight. I think it's time I get off and go to sleep. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So for everybody that kind of popped in and out throughout the last 3 hours, awesome. Thank you for stopping by. Remember, Saturday we're doing the other half of the auction, which will have, how many left do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 more snakes up for auction on Saturday. And then if I get any emails from anybody that wants to put anything in to the auction at that point, or for the Saturday auction, then that stuff will be in there as well. If not, we'll just do the stuff that I have and hopefully raise a decent amount of money for DVL. So thank you all for stopping by my little corner of the interwebs. And yeah, DEA, this auction is the remaining snakes that I have for Dale. So I don't know, maybe I'll run it by you guys real quick before I get off. So I'm going to do it Saturday. What time do you think is the best for like the biggest turnout? Okay, I can do that. Sounds good to me. So I'll let Ed know that, because so we're gonna do it on his channel as well, just through the Google Hangouts thing. So I don't have any of his fancy equipment or anything like that, but we'll do what we can, and hopefully I'll be able to do the same thing I did tonight and be able to match all the donations. But I'll try to match as much as possible anyway. Well, KY, so one thing that not a ton of people know, but in 2005 my brother died, and he died via suicide, and it was hell on our family. It was unexpected, and he too was in a different state than the rest of the family. So like, I know, like, just having that unexpected death in the family, I kind of know somewhat where Dale's at. Not identical, because my brother is not my child, but kind of rough roundabout. I kind of know where he's at in his mind at the moment, and I know the financial burden that the just transferring the remains from one state to another state is going to be close to like $8,000, depending on the funeral homes that you use in their pricing. But it can get pretty steep, that's for sure. So I want to try to do as much as I can for Dale, just so that he and his family can spend their time grieving instead of worrying about where they're gonna come up with the money to pay for it all. So I wish I could do more. I wish I had like some sunsets and stuff, because I would put them up in a heartbeat. Ooh, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Yeah, it's like right now the average cost of a funeral, like if the person dies in the state that they're buried in, the average cost of a funeral is like $11,000, like averaged. And so like with my brother, by the time we were all said and done, we were in it like 20 grand. Because like for him, we had to go out to Florida, hassle with the coroner, hassle with a funeral home, get a funeral home back home in Utah, and then just to transfer the remains from one funeral home to another one, whether it's a different state or within the same state, even, which is crazy. Just to transfer the remains from one funeral home to another is anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500. But then the funeral home that is accepting the remains, they have a fee on top of it, which is like another 800 to 15 to 2,500. And so just getting the body from Florida to Utah, in my brother's case, we were in over $8,000. So this type of situation is definitely near and dear to my heart, and I just want to do as much as I can for Dale. I wish I were a lot richer, because I would do a lot more. But it's like I told him today, it's like I will gladly be broke for a while if it means I get to help his family out and lessen the financial burden. Oh my gosh, Andy. Oh yeah, that's crazy. Like we ended up getting a loan to cover my brother's funeral, and I'm sorry, but you're in a sad state of being when you have to get a loan in order to bury somebody. Thankfully, when my dad died, I didn't have to really do a whole lot uh, financially for uh, for his funeral, and by a whole lot, I mean absolutely nothing. Uh, like my family has like a whole mausoleum for a bunch of the different people on my dad's side of the family, and so my dad got, of course, one of the spots in the mausoleum. So that was already paid for. Uh, Everything else was relatively relatively inexpensive, especially through the Mormon Church. And that's the thing. I mean, like losing somebody is rough, no matter who it is. But like I couldn't. I'm not a father, so I couldn't imagine losing a child. Um, oh, absolutely, DEA, freaking wholeheartedly. Um, for a short period of time, a real short period of time in Utah, there wasn't a whole lot of work doing programming, and not much that they wanted to. Uh, the work that was available, they didn't want to pay what people were worth. So I ended up going to work for a company that makes headstones, and the family that owned the business, super nice family. It was actually my roommate at the time. It was his girlfriend's dad that owned the company, or yeah, his girlfriend's dad, yeah, that owned the company. And he used to always say, very, very obtuse. So forgive me. But he used to always say, my customers are just dying for my product. For real, KY, like it's freaking insane. Like I could go get 3 dozen roses over at freaking 7-Eleven and tape them together and it would be just as good. I mean, maybe not 7-Eleven, but but I mean, when you come into situations like what Dale is in, it's a firm reminder to make sure that the people that you love know it, and that you try to spend as much time with them and make as many happy memories as you can, because you never really know when the last time you'll see somebody is. And it's a shame that it's that way, but 'tis his life. No worries. I have been on here for almost 3 hours. I didn't plan on being on for 3 hours, But the last 2 lives that I've done have been about this same length of time. So I am also going to run. I'm just going to leave you guys here, and I'm just going to run. So not really, I wouldn't do that, but I am going to sign off. So y'all have a good night. Remember, Saturday is the other auction for the remaining snakes, and of course anything else I can come up with. And DEA, you're right. The CMC paper liners are freaking amazing. I love them. Stevie, thank you for stopping by, buddy. It's always a pleasure to see you. I'm sorry that I've got to run and you just barely showed up. But hopefully I'll get to see you again soon. Thank you, KY. Thank you, Andy. I'm taking a note from your book, Andy. I think he already left, but thank you, whoever the lurker is. Hope to see y'all soon. Oh, no worries, Stevie. I don't expect anybody to come to my live and spend the whole time with me. You know what matters is that you came and stopped by to say hi. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you, and y'all have a good night, and I'll see you probably Saturday for the auction. Have a good one.